So Obama is officially getting blamed for the Epstein Files, according to Donald Trump. Same with Hillary Clinton. Getting blamed by Donald Trump for the Epstein Files makes absolutely no sense. But ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, that is what is happening in our joke of a country today. It actually blows my mind that people aren't raging 24/7 at this administration, that there's actually people out there who legitimately support him. Like it actually, I can't wrap my head around it. It really blows my mind. And so, with that said, we're gonna read out the absolute insanity that Trump is tweeting out here, or I guess truthing out, setting it out on Truth Social here. And it's actually so long that it barely even fit when I cropped it on to the screen here, so you guys can all read it for yourself as we're going along here. But I'll read it out to you guys, then we're going to talk about it a little bit here. So what is Trump saying about the Epstein Files? Because he was obviously pissed off. You can watch my last video. He was upset, angry. He's yelling at reporters here. He's like, why do you guys even care about the Epstein Files? Blah, 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 blah. All you care about is this missing minute, which we now know was actually edited on Adobe Premiere, right? People have went through the metadata, saw that it was edited, spliced, etc., etc., etc. Now, that's not 100% indicative per se that there was any edits, but let's be honest here. We all know that for nefarious edits, I should say. But let's be honest here. We all kind of know that was the case. And so, hey, look, maybe I'm wrong. It would be great if there was actually no crime. None of these crimes ever happened, right? These were very bad crimes that were being accused. But having said that, or alleged, but having said that here, the evidence is not looking good. So with that said, what is Donald Trump saying here on Truth Social? He says, quote, "What's going on with my boys, and in some cases, gals? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it, all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more? They created the Epstein Files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me. And now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein Files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? They haven't even given up on the John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King Jr. files. No matter how much success we have had securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy dominance, a safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons, it's never enough for some people. We are about to achieve more in 6 months than any other administration has achieved in over 100 years. And we have so much more to do. We are saving our country and making America great again, which will continue to be our complete priority. The left is imploding. Kash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. For a side note here, they're not releasing the Jeffrey Epstein documents that we all want here. So what is he talking? Is he alleging that they exist? Because we want them and nobody's releasing them. Anyways, back to it here. Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they tried to do the same thing in 2024. That's what she is looking into as AG and much more. 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Thank you for your attention on this matter. Oh my God, you can see he is losing his bloody mind. I don't think he has a single marble left at this point, right? And this is actually ridiculous here. So let's break this down because there's a lot that he mentions in here. I mean, this dude just ranting and raving like he's in like some psychosis. And so, first and foremost here, the most shocking here is he's actually saying the Epstein Files are created by Hillary Clinton and Christopher Steele. no. Hillary Clinton here. We got Brennan, Obama, Comey, and then he's saying the losers and criminals of the Biden administration, right? So that's the first thing here. That's what he's alleging. He's saying that it's a fabricated hoax, all of this, right? Well, let's take a look here. I believe Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in, let's see here, 2006. I believe he took a plea, and so he actually served like 13 months in prison. So I had to look that up to remember again. But then two, he was rearrested back in 2019, right? So first and foremost here, let's break this down here. He's alleging that they're written by Obama. So Obama has been out of office since 2016. Or 2017 technically. So I don't really know what he's talking about there. They're going to arrest 2 years later after that? That doesn't make really any sense. They're going to arrest him under your administration, Trump? What are you talking about, bro? And then crooked Hillary. First of all, like, where is he? What does Hillary have to do with this? Where's the Hillary coming from? We got Comey, we got Brennan, losers and criminals of the Biden administration. Let's talk about the Biden administration here without going to the other people. Look, the Biden administration, Epstein was already arrested. Biden wasn't in power at all. And you're going to say that for some reason he's the problem. What are you talking about? It makes no sense, right? And then we ask years for all this evidence and blah, 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 blah. We can't get it. And it finally happens under Trump's second term here. So I really have no idea what he's talking about here, but he's claiming that it's fabricated here, and the only fabrication appears to be from the likes of the U.S. government right now, which is under his own administration, right, with all the splicing and the like, and so and we can't even get access to the other stuff that was alleged to exist, like Pam Bondi's file contact list on the desk going at the list, right? So. Look, this is bad. This is really bad. So that's the first thing here. Next up here, he's talking about all these different accomplishments here. He says they haven't even given up on the John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King Jr. files, no matter how much success we have had, blah, 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 blah. It's like, what, dude? What, we can't have access to historical documents and have government transparency? Are you upset that people actually want transparency in a democratic country? The fuck is wrong with you, dude? This is insane. So he's ranting on about that, right? Talking about a safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons. Like, dude, the fact that we aren't in a war. Look, props where props are due. We're not in a war yet, but what I will tell you is, this is like the first time the United States has actually backed off of a Middle Eastern conflict. It's like, what in the world are you talking about, dude? Like, the fact that we're not in a war and the fact that they just let people dying in their own country and nuclear facilities being blown up, that is a miracle, right? And we should be thanking the heavens that this has not resulted in a war. His actions here, the anti-war president, no new wars president, right? Meanwhile, throughout his first term and second term, he bombed 8 countries. What are you talking about, right? He's signing executive orders to make it so that way drone strike casualties for civilians doesn't even have to get reported, so that way it doesn't look bad like the U.S. is just terrorizing foreign countries. Like, what are you talking about, man? So there's that there. And then he's gonna go on here and he's gonna double down on the election fraud again here, saying that there's fraud in 2020, and then that there's they're gonna try to do it in 2024. It's like, dude, first of all, I think anybody who can actually realistically step outside of their little political party bubbles, right? If you actually step back, you can understand why Trump won in 2016. I mean, Hillary Clinton is super unlikable, and Trump's just preaching for the pulpit, like these billionaires are corrupt, blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, I'm using the same loopholes as your donors. You haven't done anything for years, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Dave Chappelle listed out perfectly, right? And that's accurate. So you can understand why Trump, with all these different promises, actually got into office the first time. Like, you can understand it, you know what I'm saying? You might not like the guy, but you can understand why he got in office. So it wasn't necessarily the fact that, that it was like Hillary Clinton lost that election hard and Donald Trump really won that election. And then the second time over, it wasn't the fact that, Biden won the election. It was more like Donald Trump lost. Like, does that make sense? Does that make sense to everybody here? Under COVID, he handled it so horribly. I mean, everybody talks about the stimulus check this, the stimulus check that. Oh, the stimulus check. Oh, we got so much money, it's going to cause inflation. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, did you not pass elementary math? I mean, you could have gave every single U.S. citizen over the age of 16 $35,000 tax-free in cash for the amount of government spending that happened during COVID. And you're going to sit here and look me in the face and tell me that $1,000 is going to cause inflation? What? Where do you... I can't stand these people, right? So this is absolutely ridiculous here. He handled it horribly, 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 horribly. Biden didn't win that election. Like, he won it, obviously, right? But he didn't win that election. Trump lost it. You understand what I'm saying here? Horrible candidate. I mean, like, you know how hard it is to dethrone a sitting president? It is virtually impossible to beat an incumbent, right? And Trump still managed to lose because he handled COVID so bloody bad. And people aren't going to forget that, right? That was a terrible time for the country. And, like, look, it would have probably been bad no matter who's handling things, right? But with Trump, it was particularly bad, right? Because he's not preaching for things. And by the time he understood that that certain things he should have been preaching for, like more stimulus checks, for example, it was too late. And I remember, like, he was already sort of losing the election probably by the time he started preaching for things. I remember very vividly. I'll never forget this, right? And nobody knows this, right? Because nobody, actually follows what he says in the primary source documents like I'm putting on screen here. But I remember he tweeted out to Nancy Pelosi, right? And he was like, give me a one-issue bill right now for stimulus checks. I'll sign it today. And Nancy Pelosi didn't even respond to him. And I was like, wow. I was like, that's ridiculous. And then a couple months later, I saw Nancy Pelosi tweeting out, well, if Trump would have just would have just, asked me for, a single issue bill on stimulus, she's like, I would have, of course. Like, yeah, of course we'll try to do this as best we can. And it's like, you are so corrupt. You are so corrupt. I mean, it's ridiculous in this country. But even by the time he understood, like, he was going to be losing, like, it was already too late. So you can understand why he lost there. And then the next time around, it's like, who do you pick instead? Right, the corrupt prosecutor who got 0 votes and it got legally cooed into her Democratic nomination. I mean, she got the same amount of votes as me, actually, for the primary. I don't know if you know that, but I actually tied the Democratic nominee for the amount of votes. Except I didn't get the nomination. Of course, she did. It makes no sense. And you try to run Biden again, right? The dude can't even speak properly. It's like, what do you talk? What? I can't understand it, right? I'm not even verbal when it comes to this. I get so angry. It makes no sense. And so you can understand why Trump won the next time around, right? You pick like the most unlikable person, like literally refuses to go on podcasts, doesn't want to go on Joe Rogan. And like, first of all, like, yeah, Joe Rogan may have, sort of lost his mind a little bit with, talking about the right and all that, right? Recently trying to like support Trump and this and that and like Elon and, he took the red pill a little bit, right? But in the same breath, and this was the dude who's a Bernie Sanders supporter. And I still think that he would be a Bernie Sanders supporter if there was a candidate like Bernie Sanders to actually vote for. And so like, come on, guys, right? Like, you're not going to do him the grace of going on that podcast when that is the type of social media presence that you need. You need to appeal not just to young voters, but all types of voters there are on that social media. You can't just go through the traditional conservative media here. People don't like that. And there's something fishy about that. And it's just wrong. And you can't just hide away in the basement like they did with Biden and then expect to come on top. It's not going to work that way. So you can understand why she got blown out. Whereas Trump, this motherfucking guy, this dude is on like every podcast every single day, like multiple day for like a couple years, and like, it worked out in his favor, right? Or whatever he announced. And so, I mean, even before that, this dude just loves going around to rallies. Like, I think he just loves hearing himself speak, as I think we all do to some degree, right? But he just loves it. He needs the podium, he needs the pulpit, and that's something that brings him joy, and you can see it. Whereas like with Kamala, I mean, like, Jesus, I mean, she might have been a better candidate, obviously. I'm not saying that, she's worse than Trump here. It's like, but if you're running an election, she clearly ran it worse than Trump did. And so, like, Trump had, no business winning this time around. It's like Kamala lost that. You know what I'm saying? So, with that said here, like, a lot of these things just make no sense. This is a really hot take on his behalf. I think this is insane. But and let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, there's so much evidence. It's like, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I really do. But like, there's so much evidence for this Epstein conspiracy here that it's actually laughable at this point. And the fact that, they're going to sit around like this is 1984. And somebody put a great quote on when I originally saw this post here. They said, "The party told you to ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command." It's a quote from 1984, Orwell. And, it's true, right? They're gonna, you have evidence right in front of you, and then the party's just going to tell you that it doesn't exist. This is ridiculous. This is obscene. This is foul. And ladies and gentlemen, we have to stand up against this. And so with that said, everybody please hit that subscribe button, like and comment and share if you did enjoy the video today. Breaking this down here. Sad day for the country. It's been a sad 6 months for the country. But as always, guys, do your own research, make up your own mind, look up your own sources, and stay open-minded on things. And we'll come back to you with some more news soon.